Ever notice that no matter how full we are, we still want dessert when the waiter offers it to us? That need for chocolate, sugar, cookies, anything sweet overrides our satiety and rational thinking. And when we eat it, it sends the same jolt to the pleasure centers of the brain as heroin and cocaine. No kidding. Food companies know this, and they do everything in their power to seduce us into eating more cake. More cake. Like we're zombies. All this sugar puts stress on our body, causing our pancreas to work in overdrive to return our blood glucose levels back to normal. It's a cycle that can be broken. Know this, what you eat matters, and it's directly related to your stress response and resiliency. Now, many of the things that you've always known still hold true. Fruits and veggies are awesome. Eat them often. Eat lean protein. And if you eat grains, eat whole grains. But where we can really see a lot of positive change for our resiliency and our weight centers around our vices. Let's tackle those first and start developing eating habits that are healthier for your mind and body. There's no way around it. Caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, and dietary fats all increase stress. The irony is these are the things that we often reach for when we're stressed. Caffeine. Too much releases adrenaline and cortisol. Not good. And get this, cortisol levels naturally peak in the morning when we usually want coffee the most. So we're feeding into our cortisol levels at the least optimal time. What can you do? Now, I know what you're thinking. She's gonna make me quit coffee. No, I won't go that far. But if you drink several cups a day, consider cutting back. Try drinking later in the morning so that you don't exacerbate your cortisol levels. And there's always decaf. Consider it. Alcohol. It's toxic to our cells and liver. It can shrink portions of our brain that control memory, planning, problem solving, and judgment. Hence the term impaired judgment. It also increases your risk for some cancers, causes high blood pressure, and heart disease. So what can you do? Keep these two things in mind. First, drinking regularly can be okay if you don't overdo it. Some studies show drinking a little red wine may have positive effects. My second point is moderation. Now, this means no more than 1 drink per day for women and no more than 2 drinks per day for men. And no, you can't save them all up for the weekend. Nicotine. Obviously, you don't eat cigarettes, but I thought it made sense to bunch it in here because it's a vice. Nicotine triggers your stress response and is bad for your respiratory and cardiovascular system. The answer here is simple, and you know it. Quit. Fats. Not all are bad, but generally speaking, saturated fats are unhealthy. They're solid at room temperature, things like butter. They come from animal sources, coconut oil, and palm oil. Too many saturated fats increase cortisol and cause inflammation. Trans fats, they're the worst of the worst. Look for the words hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils in things like cakes, pies, pizza, cookies, and fast food. I know it's hard, especially in today's world, but try to stay away from them. Unsaturated fats, not so bad, or dare I say, healthy. These are liquid at room temperature and come from plants. What can you do? Keep an eye out for what I call UFOs, unidentified fried objects, like that, and try to get your fats from healthy sources like plants, seeds, nuts, and fish. I highly suggest you don't go on an extreme diet. It's stressful. I know this from trying it over and over. Counting calories, weighing portions, and checking out your food under a microscope can be too much. And Research shows that people who diet often end up gaining more weight than people who don't. When your body's in diet mode, you risk the chance of losing muscle mass, slowing your metabolism, and releasing cortisol, which makes you hungry and puts your body in fat storage mode, the opposite of what we want to happen. And dieting can cause negative moods, depression, anxiety, decreased self-esteem, nervousness, and irritability. And remember, when we're stressed, our caveman brain, Sneaky Pete, is in the driver's seat. He's hardwired to eat as much as he can while he can. Dieting is hard work, not fun, and Sneaky Pete will not be on board. And if he's not on board, it's unlikely it will be successful. One last thing. If you're faced with all types of food pressures, you don't know what to do, and everything I said just escapes you, just try to eat the foods a caveman had access to, and try to do it in moderation.